natural salts that you find in nature, it's not just sodium chloride that you're finding. Remember, right? There are all sorts of other elements and heavy metals and other contaminants. The word contamination, sometimes it sounds like, synthetic labs and whatnot. Okay, but in this case, we're talking contamination of very natural heavy metals that are just found in nature, alongside your sodium, right? So, a patch of soil or a patch of dirt, might have a bunch of sodium that you're picking up in your palate, but it also might have arsenic, lead, aluminum. It might have cadmium. You don't want cadmium in your body. All of these things, right? So, just be mindful of that, right? Be mindful of that. And that is reflected, that danger of heavy metals in the natural world, naturally occurring hard earth minerals. That's reflected in the difficulty, it seems, in the industry preparing salt products for you that is also free of those contaminants. Because right now, in the current state the industry's in, none of y'all with your salt products. I don't care how wonderful the source is, how beautiful the influencer's hair is that sold it to you, right? It
I
all of
didn't
it.
sell anything. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, continue.
Yeah, all of that salt, all guaranteed it has heavy metals, traces of heavy metals.
Oh,
Small, maybe small, that minute, that won't off you the day after. No. But the question is, do you want to be putting toxic heavy metals into your system?
well, what
And
are some of the side effects? Because people don't know. Like, what are some of, because here's the thing, people are suffering and they
mm,
don't know that they're causing their own suffering. So,
mhm.
like, real quick, what are some of the side effects of consuming salt with heavy metals? What are some things that happen to the human body?
Well, acutely, okay,
Acutely, yeah.
okay, so if you have an acute, and this is the interesting thing with salt, like table salt now, um, acutely, the symptoms for poisoning of all of these heavy metals, right? Lead, cadmium, chromium, aluminum, thallium, cobalt, silver, osmium, all sorts of them. Okay, the symptoms of acute poisoning is all the same, is virtually the same. It's like nausea, gastrointestinal discomfort, dehydration, right? Laxatives. Many of them can be used as laxatives. For example, um, Epsom salts. Okay, so if you go, nobody uses Epsom salts dietarily. I don't know why. It's the same as regular salt. It's not the same, but the effects of acute poisoning of Epsom salt and regular salt are like virtually identical. Vomiting, nausea, gastrointestinal discomfort, um, diarrhea. Your body is it's trying to get rid of that stuff immediately. So salt fits neatly into this list of heavy metals that have certain symptoms associated with them, and salt has the exact same ones if you use too much in an acute bout. And
Yeah.
over the long term, right? I, look at society. Look at our condition, right? I, everything. What happens when heavy metals bioaccumulate? I, things get disrupted, right? There's no telling what could happen, how those could affect you. But you are talking about possible calcification of certain tissues, and like I mentioned it already. I mentioned it earlier, and that can impair their function. But yeah, there could be all sort. It's like like it's like supplements. Your body is just so good at packing away and storing away pollutants that when something ends up happening, it's very difficult to trace it back to that, right? Because your body allowed you to tolerate something for a long time. Generally speaking, people make the mistake of conflating toleration with immunity. That's also an issue. People don't understand that very well, right? I'm immune to this, I'm immune to that. No, your body's just tolerating it by eroding or degrading certain structures in your body. And so it has to tolerate the burden of your choice, but it's not immunity, right? That's totally different.
Ooh, that's a
Yeah.
bar. Write that down. Your body has to tolerate the
Mm.
poison of your choice. Is that what you